Welcome to After the Pool, the video series where I take the rest of the comic books that I read for the current comic book week and share my thoughts and opinions with you. If you guys have not seen my Worthy Ones video where I discuss the new #1 comic books for the week, check that out at the end of this video. I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy and you love daily comic book content, you guys came to the right place. So if you haven't done so yet, maybe hit that subscribe button. Also, just a quick announcement. If you're in the local area in Central Florida, guys, I'm having a huge garage sale trying to unload some comics. You know, gotta purge that collection. And if you want more information, I'll leave you another video at the end of this one and my email address down below to let you know where the sale actually is. So with that being said, guys, let's get started this week. It's not a huge week, and the comics were just like, okay, so let's talk. So just like every week, we're kicking things off with that speed round, and the first book that's in the speed round this week is Deadpool Team Up issue 3. This is a book where you just got to turn your brain off, have a good time with it, look at the huge pin-up pages. There's Hulk in this issue as he's battling Wolverine for real no apparent reason in here, and it's just kind of hilarious because like freaking Hulk calls Deadpool like pool guy and all these other things, and it's just funny, right? I would say that Liefeld's not known really for his writing skills, and maybe for some not his drawing skills either, but this is almost like a pin-up page book, and just have fun with it, turn your brain off, and again, enjoy it. The next one we're going to talk about is Uncanny Valley issue 6. This is a very like meta book where we just wind up seeing how certain things were created in a Toon world, and then we actually get to see our main character's father at the end of this thing. Yeah, this book was like way out there, but it was very interesting and very different. And if you've read Uncanny Valley from issue 1 to this point, definitely recommend this book. I would say if you haven't read it, definitely buy the trade when it does come out. Next, we have the conclusion to the Venom War Zombiotes. This has been a good book. This loosely ties into everything that's going on in the Venom War, but it accomplishes something that you would have never thought that would have happened, and that's to bring back the character Boomerang. That's right, this is a spoiler because I don't know how many people are actually going to read this book, but Boomerang is back, and the relationship that the Shocker and Boomerang have is very close with each other. And I was like, wow, I never saw this emotional beat coming from this comic book. So at the end of the day, this was something that I'm happy I picked up on. I just never thought I was going to give this a chance, and I'm glad I did. This is just like one of those diamonds in the rough. Great book, man. Had a fun time with it. And we get Boomerang back. All right, and then we got Spawn. This is issue like, I don't know, 358. I think someone told me in the comment section below. Yeah, because I have a variant cover that doesn't show the number. This was a cool book as you get Spawn that comes and teams up with Lara once again, who is the character that's a hybrid, so she still has her powers. But the thing is she was captured in the last issue, and he has to infiltrate a base, Spawn does, and he has to rescue her. So I thought that was pretty interesting, plus them trying to figure out more of the Lara character. So always recommend Spawn. Is the storytelling a little bit slow? Yes, it is, but it's always a good read. And then the next book we're going to talk about is Knights vs. Samurai issue 2. I felt like this took a little while for the second issue to come out. And for me, this issue wasn't as strong. Yes, there was more action in this one, but I don't know. I wasn't getting a good vibe out of this. I think like maybe it took so long and it lost its momentum for me. It was average at best. We get to see, again, a lot more action between the Knights versus the Samurai. The Samurai do capture the Knights in this issue, and then we get this guy that was like, I think, working for the king, or he was the messenger or whatever, is the one that was kind of to watch this mission, and he's like backstabbing the soldiers that are on board and stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be continuing this one. It wasn't bad, but I'm just not getting a good vibe from it. So let's discuss these books in a little bit more detail. The first one we're going to be talking about is Wolverine Revenge. This is the Red Band edition. This is issue 3. There's 32 pages here for the price of $6. It's a polybagged book, obviously promising you to deliver a little bit more content and a little bit more blood and gore. So let's talk about this book. I mean, this book is not bloody at all. I think there's a couple pages in here where you get some good fighting action, right? But nothing here where I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. And the fights were like a couple too many. I felt like, okay, we had this quick fight with Omega Red in the book. He was quickly dispensed. We got Deadpool and Wolverine actually talking on top of this like nuclear power plant, and he gets pushed in and he gets disintegrated. And then there's this like battle between him and Cyclops that was, you know, a couple pages, but you know, nothing like extravagant. Yes, yeah, you get his arm ripped off here, and you wind up getting to see Cyclops' bloody intestines, which maybe you might not see that in the regular edition. I'm not 100% correct, but there was just nothing here of a story that had solid substance. And I know this is a book about Wolverine Revenge, and he just wants to like kill all the people that did him wrong, but there's just something severely lacking in this comic book, right? There's just nothing here, and I'm expecting, like, I don't know what it is. It's something a lot more than what I'm reading here. Even the battles just seemed lackluster. Like, I would love to see maybe just one issue with balls to the wall action with like Wolverine doing battle of Omega Red instead of interacting with 3 different characters in this one issue. It really takes away from it, you know? I don't know, man. This has just been a disappointing series for something that I've been really excited about. Capullo's artwork is good. It's fine, but I don't think it's like his best work that I've ever seen. So at the end of the day, I'm really just gonna give this one like a C+. It was just slightly above average for me. So I don't know. I've been kind of disappointed with this whole thing. And for it to be Red Band, we all know we've read issues of different comics that are much bloodier than what this has to offer. Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. This is issue 2, 32-page comic for the price of $5. I wound up getting the J. Scott Campbell cover. And let me just tell you, bro, I'm pissed off. Like, look at that. That was for me holding the book. The front of the cover was fine, but the back of it, the ink completely came off. And usually with a cardstock cover, this doesn't happen. So I'm really pissed off that this comic is ruined because of that. Not that I'm going to sell it, but still, it's a nice cover and kind of pisses me off. So anyway, the writer here is Jeff Loeb. The art is done by Klaus Johnson. The artwork is fine. I like it. It fits this like old tone, you know, and obviously I guess people are saying it's a lot like the last series. You get this crazy facial expression from Batman. I think that's pretty cool, right? And I did think the last issue was a little bit better than this one. However, the mystery does thicken within this comic. So I guess you can appreciate that because that's what Batman is. He's a detective trying to solve the mystery at hand with what's going on with all these murders. And at first you thought that Catwoman was maybe murdered in the last issue, but you wound up finding out that she got shot in the leg and she's trying to get it repaired. And we're trying to figure out again who this murderer is. A lot of people are thinking that it could be the Penguin. Is it the Penguin? Is it not the Penguin? Then you got Batman kind of dealing with the FBI because the FBI wants to get their hands all into everything. And you gotta like the Robin stuff in here as well. I think that was pretty cool, and I really like how Robin is such a new character in here to where he's just getting his feet wet and everything. So this book is really good so far after 2 issues. Again, I thought the first issue was a little bit better, maybe because it's starting to set things up, but nevertheless, still really good, and I'm gonna give this one a B+. Definitely one of the highlights of the week when it comes to a small comic book week. If there was another book that I would recommend, is that Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing one-shot. I talked about that one on Worthy Ones if you want to go more into depth about that one and see what it's about. But this one was pretty good, guys. Ferrel, this is issue 7. This book is 28 pages for the price of $4. This book is really good, man. Tony Fleece, and the art is done by Tris Forster. The artwork is just really good. Again, a lot of people compare it to like The Walking Dead, but with cats. So it is a nice little story here with, you see Elsie, who is protecting these little kittens, right? And the kittens are super hungry, and they're chasing after these rats, and the rats are actually infected with rabies. So we wind up seeing Elsie trying to be like the adult cat and trying to protect the kittens, and they go on the run. And then meanwhile in this comic book, I think we wind up seeing Lord, who is missing. I think Patch is the one that's infected, which you don't see in this comic book. And then we wind up seeing our cats being captured in this issue, and you're like, oh no, like what's going to happen from this point? And by the time you wind up getting to the end of it, you're going to see where they wind up going. It's very much a solid issue. Every book delivers here when it comes to this series, and I really love it. And I'm going to give this one an A+, because it's one of those books where it's just a little bit unpredictable, right? You don't know where or what is going to happen to the main characters in this book, and that's what I really loved. And the art is gorgeous, and big twist here at the end of this one. So definitely recommend this. Again, top pick for me. So definitely continue to read Ferrel Red Coat. This is issue 7, 32-page comic for the price of $4. This one's written by Jeff Johns, and the penciler inker is Brian Hitch. Artwork always delivers in this comic. This is a much more a comic that really, oh my god, is so emotional, right? This was a very big day for Simon Pure. He's lived a long life. He's seen a lot of death. And in this issue, it's been years. I think we're in the year 1955 at this point, which I very much thought that this comic book would go in that direction as we get closer and closer to modern time. And then he visits Albert Einstein in a hospice care, right? And they get to share their adventures together, everything that they enjoyed with each other, and we can see how important Einstein is to Simon Pure. And it was very much an emotional gut punch. And like I said, through this issue, you just see all this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like all the loss that Simon Pure has endured throughout his long life, and it's got to be very emotional on him, right? This was a very sad issue, and however, for the story, obviously it's integral for the character development to see like what he goes through, right? Very much a great book. Again, I've said this every time. Every time this book comes out, it just gets better and better. At issue 1, I wasn't really a fan of this book, right? And I was like, all right, I'll try issue 2. And 2 got a little bit better, and then 3, and then 4, and 5. And it just grew on me, and it made me care about the Albert Einstein character in this comic and Simon Pure's relationship, right? And now we're well into the future here. What's in store for Simon Pure? I am so excited to see what happens with this book. So again, top pick, another A+ book this week in a very small week, but I tell you, the indie scene is where it's at right now, guys. Nightclub 2, this is issue 3, a 32-page comic for the price of $5, written by Mark Miller, and the art is done by Juanan Ramirez. The artwork is really good in this comic book. There's just lots of fighting, lots of great character emotion. The vampire details look really good in here, especially when you're like vampires change into bats and stuff like that. So there's, I kind of can't see it so much in here, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, again, facial expressions really intense in this comic. And I want to say Mark Miller kind of paid homage to the original Blade movie based off of a scene that happens in this comic book. And if you've seen the first Blade movie, you know what I'm talking about. And if you read this comic book, check out the bright and vibrant colors here of Danny and Amy. I think that's really cool. They wear these masks. They play as superheroes, but they're vampires, right? And if you've read the series, we've seen Sam, who kind of broke away from the the group, and he was pissed off at them, and he was hooking up with the hot cheerleader chick in school. He wound up biting her, giving her vampire powers, and she was using them. And there's the consequences that happened in this comic book. Now, this book winds up taking a twist and a turn that I never saw coming. Like, I thought I had this comic book figured out from issue 1. I thought Sam was going to be a bad guy, and he was going to join the bad guys, and he was going to create havoc, and they were going to fight with each other. Wrong. So wrong. And if you guys want a good comic book series to read, right, I say go back, find volume 1 of this. It's like 4 or 5 issues. I'm sure you can find it in a trade, and then read this. However, if you can't find a trade, you will be able to understand what's kind of going on in this series as of right now. But you're going to want to read issue 1 because it's a lot of fun. So at the end of the day, this was my favorite comic book of the week by far. Just totally twist and turn. Like I said earlier, indie books is where it's at right now. They deliver on all levels, guys. This is another top pick. I got 3 top picks for this week. Another A+ comic book. So go out there, check out Nightclub 2, issue 3. And there you guys have it. There are all my thoughts on the rest of the comic books this week. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And I'll leave you those videos. Like I said earlier, this is my garage sale video and also the Worthy Ones video. And as always, guys, remember, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, read those comics so we can have great conversation just like we did today. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Bye.